So in the first 3 episodes of Arrow Season 8, we had a storyline where the Monitor told Oliver to go to Earth 2, then to go to Hong Kong to get either an item or a person in the service of something mysterious. In the second episode, some people like Diggle and Katana question whether or not Oliver blindly trusting the Monitor is a good idea. Because of this, Oliver decided to go to Nanda Parbat to get information on the Monitor to see if he can trust him. At Nanda Parbat, he reunited with Thea Queen, his sister, and also Talia al Ghul, and after this whole quest, this whole adventure, he got information on the Monitor in the form of a scroll. This scroll said that somebody who at least looks like the Monitor told a person from probably a couple thousand years ago, a guy named Al-Fatih, to bring balance to the world or he'll destroy it. Because of this, Al-Fatih created the League of Assassins and became the first Ra's al Ghul. Now, the way they phrase this, or the way they show this in the episode, Oliver seemed to think that because of this, the Monitor was a bad person, and he was, or a being, I guess, and he was trying to destroy the universe. Now, I think that that's not going to be the case. I think the Monitor is who we think it is. It's not the Anti-Monitor. Like, the character we've seen up until this point is Mar-Novu, and it is the Monitor, and he's a guy who's trying to prevent the destruction of the multiverse, as the actor has described the character as very morally ambiguous. Creating the League of Assassins for a just reason is definitely something he would do, as he's basically a cosmic being who believes that the ends justify the means, especially if the ends is saving the multiverse. So while it's shown, or Oliver thinks that because he created the League of Assassins, and because he told the original Ra's al Ghul that if he doesn't create the League of Assassins, he'll destroy the universe, or at least the world, that means that he's a bad being, but I don't think that is the case. The question is, why would he create the League of Assassins, and what does it contribute to the saving of the multiverse? And I do have an answer for that. I should probably say that for the rest of this video, I'm going under 2 assumptions. One, that the being who actually created the League of Assassins, or told Al-Fatih to do so, was the Monitor and not the Anti-Monitor, because it possibly was the Anti-Monitor. The drawing of this being doesn't have the ridges that the Monitor has, while the Anti-Monitor doesn't have them, so it's possible that was a drawing of the Anti-Monitor. However, I could see no reason why the Anti-Monitor would create the League of Assassins in a universe that's just going to be destroyed in a couple thousand years or something, so that, I think, it was Mar-Novu. I'm also going under the assumption that the current Mar-Novu we've seen so far is actually the Monitor and not the Anti-Monitor. So with that in mind, let's get into why the Monitor created the League of Assassins. So everything Mar-Novu has done up to this point has been to save the multiverse. That's basically his primary function. It's just to stop his brother, the Anti-Monitor, and basically everything Novu has done in this season involves Oliver Queen. Not everything in The Flash, or even on other shows where he's like in the background, or he contributed to the storyline. On Arrow specifically, everything involves Oliver Queen, which even includes him working with Lila Michaels. Ever since it was revealed that Lila would become Harbinger in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and in episode 2, it was revealed that she's already working with the Monitor. It's pretty clear that if they're going with the origins from the comics, then Lila Michaels has been working with the Monitor this entire time, since before the show even started, as in the comics she was actually raised by the Monitor. Anyway, I definitely expected that to be the beginning of when Mar-Novu tried to get either close to Oliver through Diggle and through Lila, get information on him, try to help him whenever he can through Lila, but also it's possible that this is actually not the case, and he started working towards preparing Oliver a lot before this. This is just a theory, but I do think it's possible that considering Novu can see the future and he's billions of years old, it's very likely that he's been preparing Oliver specifically for a lot longer than Lila Michaels, and a lot longer than Oliver's been alive, and I think that all leads back to the League of Assassins. The League of Assassins have served a huge role in Oliver's life, probably bigger than anything in terms of making him the hero he is today, like how Talia was one of his main trainers, at least like near the end of the flashbacks, and then near the beginning of them, her student, who through Talia got League training, trained Oliver, and that was Yao Fei. Then also Yao Fei trained Shadow, who in turn trained Oliver, so that's 3 trainers for Oliver Queen that were a part of the League of Assassins or had League training. Then there is how his main enemies, 4 out of the 7 of them, if you even want to include Emiko Queen as one of the main villains, because like she barely was, but in terms of the first 6, like Malcolm Merlyn, Slade Wilson, Ra's al Ghul, Damien Darhk, Adrian Chase, and Ricardo Diaz, only 2 of them have no connection to the League of Assassins, and that's Slade Wilson and Ricardo Diaz. Malcolm Merlyn is straight up a member of the League of Assassins. Ra's al Ghul was the leader of the League of Assassins. Damien Darhk was the primary primary rival of Ra's al Ghul and a former member of the League of Assassins. And finally, Adrian Chase primarily was trained by Talia al Ghul, so he has League training. It's only basically Slade Wilson and Ricardo Diaz who don't, as the main villains and main enemies of Oliver Queen. Then there's also Sarah Lance, Thea Queen through Merlin, Mia Smoke through Nyssa, and potentially even Bruce Wayne, who all had League training. I think it's safe to say that not only were the League of Assassins the primary source of training for most, if not all, of the powerless Arrowverse heroes who rely on their fighting ability, including Oliver Queen, but they also were the primary, or at least most recurring threat for Oliver in his vigilante career, like Merlin, Ra's, Dark, Adrian Chase, and even Nyssa and Talia when they were enemies of the Green Arrow and the rest of the League of Assassins. Throughout Oliver's career as a vigilante, these threats pushed him to his limits, pushed him to be the Green Arrow. I mean, that was directly Ra's al Ghul, pushed him past his deepest flaws, which was Adrian Chase, and pushed him to become a much better hero, all in service of the coming crisis. Basically, the reason the Monitor created the League of Assassins, or at least led to the events, or put in motion the events for the League of Assassins to be created, is so that later Oliver Queen would have the resources and the fighting ability and all the threats to push him to the limits to become the best hero he can possibly be. Not to mention that even White Canary, who's going to be in the upcoming crisis, maybe Bruce Wayne also, and potentially the League of Heroes formed by Talia al Ghul and Thea al Ghul, all can have a big role in helping the multiverse, or at least their universe, in Crisis on Infinite Earths, but I think that is mostly focused around Oliver Queen. Now, this would probably mean that Oliver, his entire career as a vigilante, has all been preparing for the crisis, something that Barry Allen said about himself when he learned that he will have to sacrifice himself to save the multiverse in the coming crisis. He said that maybe the reason he became the Flash was because of the crisis. Well, maybe the same thing is for Oliver as well. Maybe this entire show has been leading to the crisis since the very beginning, and Oliver's career as the Green Arrow has all been in service of saving the universe in the coming crisis. That is, I think, a little bit different from what we all expected the show to be, which is not a cosmic show, not a show that focuses on a character who is destined to save the multiverse, or at least the universe. It's a show about a archer vigilante who just tries to save a bunch of people in his city, but mainly focuses around saving his city. But I think that it would be very fitting if this entire time, while he thought he was saving his city, his entire career as a vigilante all led to him saving not just his city, but the entire universe, and I think that will be really cool to see once the crisis rolls around. But in the comments down below, let me know what you think about this theory, and if you think it will be different, then let me know in the comments down below why you think the Monitor, or maybe even the Anti-Monitor, created the League of Assassins. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to check out my video where I talk about which characters I think survived Earth 2 from the destruction of Earth 2 in the first episode of Arrow, that will be in the top right corner of this video. Or if you want to check out my review for the episode where we learn about the League of Assassins being created by the Monitor, that will also be in the top right corner of this video. As always, thanks for watching.